Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's the night after Oleksandr Usyk has become the first man to beat Tyson Fury to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Owen, Thomas, I want to ask you if there's anyone who can beat this guy. Basically, we've seen him dominate at cruiserweight, dominate at heavyweight, beat Britain's best in Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois as well. And yeah, I think there's a good chance he'll retire undefeated, but I want to put that theory to the to the test here. Thomas, one thing I want to ask you guys both is how much longer do you think he's going to be around for? He's 37 years old now, but only 22 fights. We're expecting him to face Tyson Fury again in October. Um, Thomas, how much longer do you think Usyk's going to be fighting for?
To be honest with you, I really don't see him fighting for too much longer. I'd say, maybe he fights Fury again, wins or loses, and say he probably hangs him up because if he wins, you know, uh, I'm not really sure what's really out there in terms of big fights for him. He already beat Joshua, so that's kind of out the window. I guess we could see what happens with Zhilei Zhang and Wilder, but uh, those guys are kind of they're up there as well. So who knows whether or not June 1st is going to be uh, either one of their last fights. So yeah, I don't really see too much going on for Usyk post Fury.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think, Owen? Do you think the rematch against Fury could be Usyk's last fight? Could he have another 4 or 5 fights? 37 isn't too old for a heavyweight. What do you expect to see happen in the remainder of Usyk's career?
It's a difficult one because I think personally, normally I'm calling someone retiring, saying they're finished, but I think he beats Fury in a rematch, similar to how it went last night. And I just think what's left for him, swept up at cruiserweight, undisputed, Gassiev, Bradis, etc., traveling all over the world for that. He's gone up to heavyweight, he's beat AJ, he's beat Fury. Again, it's you look at the list of names and the way careers are going. I just don't think there's much left to achieve for even like as you look at his amateurs, European, world gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed at two weight categories in the pro ranks. So it's a case of how much desire can you have left when realistically, bar Fury and AJ in terms of names on the records, there isn't anyone else really, I'd say, in the heavyweight division that has the same pull and same weight factor. So the problem is, I think he's a fighting man. I think we could easily see him for another 4, 5, 6 fights. But personally, if I'm in and around his team, I'd say take the rematch, win that, and sail off into the sunset as one of the goats.
Yeah, that's definitely a big possibility here. Like money as well. Like he would have made a lot of money from the sport now, especially with these fights that are happening in Saudi Arabia. I'll put a couple of names to you gents. Looking forward to getting some opinions thrown around. Owen, who do you think is going to win between Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, and how would the winner of that fight get on against Usyk?
I've already done a video on this. I think Zhang's going to knock Wilder out. I think he's going to knock him out fairly early as well, sort of rounds 4, rounds 5. And honestly, I think even as Zhang as the winner, I think both men make an easy night's work for Usyk. Obviously, Wilder, you could never discount him because he has got that freakish right hand. I just think we've seen how in a complimentary way, Usyk he's weird in the ring, like the angles he punches you at. I seen a few stills on Twitter, and it's almost like if you walked into a boxing gym and tried throwing punches that he throws, a lot of coaches would look at you and be like, wrong, fundamentally wrong, start again. So I think it will be Zhang if he was to fight the winner of that, and I think someone like Zhang would have to empty the gas tank early to try and get him out. I just think Usyk's too clever for that and would break him down and stop him late.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. Thomas, what are your thoughts for June 1st, and how do you see? No, obviously you're from the States. You're surely you're backing Wilder to knock out Zhang, then knock out Usyk.
Well, you know what? During our big fight breakdown, I actually did pick Wilder. I, I think that Zhang is is gonna put some real punishment on Wilder for as long as the fight goes. I think it's probably gonna be a one-sided fight, but I just don't know if Zhang can avoid that big right hand for a full 12 rounds or before Zhang would have to knock him out first. So anyway, regardless of who wins, and I'm excited for that one. Um, I think I just don't think that either one would be successful against Fury or against Usyk. Um, I think Usyk definitely did show yesterday that he is vulnerable, like he can beat her, and I don't know if anybody can stop him, but you can get close. You can do some damage on him and hurt him. So um, I that would probably be someone's best chance at beating him. They would have to get him out early, but I just don't see Wilder or Zhang being able to do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's all very fair. Look, I think I would love to throw more a few more heavyweight names at you guys, but I just feel like the gulf between the guys you
Mm.
mentioned and then kind of the likes of Philip Hrgović, kind of FA Jagba, Joe Joyce is obviously still hanging around, Dillian White, Michael Hunter, those sort of names. There's just such a big golfing class there, so not gonna bother asking you basically because I know what you both say. Um, I've got one more name I'll throw at you, and I'm not saying this fight's gonna happen, but the fighter I mentioned could get to the point where there aren't any more challenges around him, and it would be a big fight if he was to fight Usyk. Um, Jai Opetaia looks like the best cruiserweight in the world by some distance at the moment. Still very young, 28 years old. If he Smarisbury's for the second time yesterday, um, I don't think, I don't think you're going to get many people who are picking someone to beat him at cruiserweight. So I just wonder if in 12 months' time he might say, "Eff it, I'm moving up to heavyweight, and I want to take on the best heavyweight in the world. I want to be, the unified, say, cruiserweight champion facing the undisputed heavyweight champion, undefeated versus undefeated. Usyk, let's go in say 12 months' time." Thomas, what is that? Just your thoughts on that fight? Maybe Optai would kind of have a fight at heavyweight first before fighting Usyk, but is that a fight that there's a possibility of it happening? Does it appeal to you? Just general thoughts on that fight.
I think perhaps, yeah, I think I'd watch it. I'd like to see it. Um, Whether or not Albataya wins that or is competitive is a different story. But he's pretty dominant at cruiserweight, and as it really goes with all cruiserweights, they kind of, in order to really propel their career and really make the big money, they kind of have to move up and go to heavyweight. So I think that probably will happen for Albataya at some point. And yeah, obviously he has planned Albataya to unify cruiserweight. We don't know how long that will take, but yeah, maybe perhaps in a year's time could be a possibility. I don't think there's anything politically preventing that from happening. They've both been on these Riyadh season cards, so if Albataya felt like he wanted to move up, I feel like this could be a you know easy matchup to make.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Owen, does it like sound we're talking like fantasy boxing here, or is this something you can see happening? I think if you consider Usyk dominated at cruiserweight and then moved up to heavyweight, why can't Opetaia do the same
Mm.
thing? It looks like he could do that in the next 12 months. It's just a case of maybe is Usyk still going to be there in 12 months? Well, give us your thoughts.
I wouldn't say fantasy fight. I'd say there's an element in it in the case of, like you say, by the time Opetaia's already stated he wants to fight for the WBO title. Um, so he's obviously looking at a certain route within the cruiserweights. But when I interviewed him at the Jordan Thompson presser, I think him and his team sort of made it fairly aware that they would eventually be moving up to heavyweight. So I just think it's a case of schedules and sort of timings meeting. Um, if Usyk's still around, it's 100% the fight to make. Purely because I think there'll be Opetaia will go in and be the biggest name at heavyweight. In terms of by the time he goes up, aspects of Wilder's probably going to be finished, even your Zhangs, your Joyces, etc. AJ will still be around, obviously, but Fury might be retired, Usyk might be retired. So I think Opetaia is going to go straight in at the top end of the division. So it's the easiest fight in terms of being fan friendly to make. I just think we may just miss out on it, depending on how long Usyk wants to stick around for. But that could quite easily become the biggest fight at heavyweight, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See how things develop, see what Opetaia's going to do next. Of course, Usyk has to beat Tyson Fury again. We're being told that fight's going to happen in October. I don't think that's kind of a guarantee, so we'll see. Owen, Thomas, good to speak to you. And we'll see if anyone can beat Oleksandr Usyk or if he does retire unbeaten. But yeah, really good to speak to both of you, and I'll speak to both of you again very soon.
Boys, thank you.
Cheers, mate.